The story begins in the faraway past. There was a vampire called Vanitas. This particular vampire was hated by humans and vampire alike. Unlike other vampires, Vanitas was born under a blue moon, which was a sign that his life would be cursed. The vampires actually feared Vanitas since he was born, and after some time, they even banished him out of the village. Vanitas spent years alone wandering the land and fought many monsters of the dark. After some time, Vanitas decides to take revenge and punish all the vampires who wronged him. He then created a special book that had the power to corrupt a vampire's true name. Years pass and vampires grow in strength. People live in fear of vampires and their attacks. One day, a group of people start boarding an airship, and rumors start to spread that a vampire is nearby. Noah starts to notice that one of the passengers is feeling sick. Noah helps this woman, who introduces herself as Amelia. Noah and Amelia start to get to know each other, and Noah reveals that he is traveling to Paris to find the Book of Vanitas. This surprises Amelia, and she starts to grow more quiet. Noah wants to find the book, but he fears that it might not be even real. Amelia's condition grows worse, and it is revealed that she is a vampire. She falls down on her knees, and a lamp breaks. Noah sees her red eyes and gets scared. Suddenly, from the window, Vanitas arrives and attacks Amelia immediately. Noah doesn't want Amelia to get hurt, so he actually saves her, even if he knows that she is a vampire. Vanitas then attacks Noah, but he manages to dodge his attacks. Noah then punches Vanitas and runs off while carrying Amelia. Vanitas gets up and realizes that Noah is also a vampire, as no human could knock him out so easily. Amelia feels more cold than ever, and she slowly starts to fade. She goes into an inner world where there are flowers, and a voice tries to get her to reveal her true name. Then suddenly, Amelia sees a giant shadow consume the entire world, and eternal darkness is everywhere. Amelia then wakes up and bites Noah and starts to drink his blood. Noah pushes her away, but Amelia wants more as she is starting to feel better, so she attacks Noah. At that moment, black blood starts to pour from her eyes, and Noah realizes that he has been paralyzed from her bite. It seems that she has some sort of poison in her fangs. Vanitas appears just at the right time, and he reassures Noah that he won't kill Amelia, but he can cure her. He then pulls out the Book of Vanitas and explains that he is a doctor and they can still help Amelia. Vanitas starts to use the book, and the black markings start to fade, and Amelia returns back into her normal state. Vanitas then tells her that her true name is Florifel. The guards on the airship arrive and start attacking Vanitas. Vanitas tells the guards that if they attack him, it will be the last thing they do. He then is hit by falling debris and starts to fall. Noah goes after him to save him. Suddenly, a blue moon appears, and Noah remembers that he always loved the sight of the blue moon. Vanitas and Noah fall down and land on a nearby building. Noah then asks Vanitas about how he cured Amelia, and Vanitas explains that with the book he can find what is corrupting the vampire's name and then clear it. Noah hears this and realizes that the book isn't actually evil like he heard in all of those stories. Vanitas introduces himself to Noah and tells him that he isn't actually the original Vanitas. Vanitas of the Blue Moon passed down his name and book to him, even if he is just a normal human. Noah is shocked by this realization, and Vanitas then invites Noah to join his mission. Vanitas could use the help of a strong vampire like Noah in future battles. At first, Noah refuses the offer, but Vanitas won't take no for an answer. Vanitas then also reveals that in recent years, there have been countless vampires who are corrupted, and if they do not do anything, the vampire race will disappear in the future. Vanitas promises to save the vampire race, but he needs help. Noah and Vanitas went to explore Paris, and Vanitas keep asking him to join his mission. Noah still refuses, but after some time he starts to feel weakened. Vanitas then sees that nearby guards are still looking for both of them. Noah falls down to the ground and loses consciousness. Both Noah and Vanitas are captured by guards and are put in jail. Noah is starting to worsen and can barely walk. After some time in a prison cell, they are both invited to the Count Park's Orlok. He announces that Amelia will be publicly executed, but Noah then offered to capture a vampire with a curse who is attacking the people of Paris. Vanitas manages to meet with Dante, who gives him valuable information about that vampire, and Johann also wants Vanitas that a special agency is in Paris, and they are after Vanitas. Noah and Vanitas work together, and they manage to find Thomas Bernous, who is a vampire that is attacking the people of Paris. Noah begins to attack Thomas, and eventually he manages to overpower him, and Vanitas uses the grimoire to calm down Thomas and put him under his control. Vanitas and Noah are really close to the solution to their problem, but suddenly two vampires named Luca and Jean appear, and they are joined by a Hellfire witch. They demand that Vanitas hands over the grimoire, as they want to use the book to create more of the cursed vampires. Noah refuses to give them the book, and Jean attacks him with a special weapon called the Crimson Gauntlet. Noah and Vanitas manage to escape the situation, and Vanitas later reveals that the grimoire can be used to cure cursed vampires, but it can also create them, which is why it it's dangerous if used by the wrong people. Jean wants to find the Book of Vanitas, but the process of finding the book gets interrupted when Jean is attacked by a giant wolf monster. This monster is called Loopgoer. Meanwhile, Vanitas decides to use the special grimoire to change Thomas into his human form and to unveil his real name, Bucolicus. Jean fights the wolf monster, but very soon she gets knocked down, but she still wants to fight Vanitas. No then shows up and captures Luca and holds him prisoner. Vanitas then does something very surprising. He kisses Jean and tells her that he loves her. Jean is furious by this, and she manages to save Luca, and they escape. Elsewhere, Manette and Nox find Pernux has been killed, and it seems that Charlatan was the one who murdered him. Charlatan is a vampire monster who has corrupted its name. Vanitas shows up the full powers of the grimoire, and Orlok then decides to spare Amelia and postpone her execution. Instead of being killed, Amelia is given a job as a maid in a hotel. Noah then bites Amelia's arm to read through her memories. While doing so, he sees a huge gathering of demons, and the Charlatan is there as well. Dominique de Sade arrives in the city, and she captures Noah around the neck using a special device. She then leads him to a secret chamber that exists within the Orlok estate. There she reveals that Lord Ruffin is going to be joining the ball that is happening the same night. Vanitas manages to arrive right in time and tries to save Noah. He grabs him by the hand, and they are teleported into Altus Paris, which is an alternative version of Paris, but this version is ruled by vampires. They arrive in Altus Paris and are shocked to see how it's different than the real world. Dominique then releases the chain that was around Noah's neck, and she then invites them to drink her blood. Vanitas goes to the ball, and there he tells everyone that he has actually inherited the name and legacy of the Blue Moon Vampire, and he then offers all the cursed vampires a cure for their condition. His speech is interrupted when Dominique's older sister, Veronica, shows up and tries to kill him. Vanitas is saved in the last moment by Jean, and suddenly the building is covered by a scary and dark shadow. It seems that any of the cursed vampires have been activated, and they start consuming and attacking the other normal vampires. It is revealed that the Charlatan is behind all of this. Jean is also being affected by this desire for blood, and Vanitas then offers some of his own blood to her. She cannot hold on anymore, so she bites Vanitas' neck. Noah finds Charlatan and attacks him, but soon Charlatan seems to recognize Noah from his past. The past shows that Noah was living with his teacher, and there he meets Louis and Dominique. The years go by, and Louis realizes that he has a curse flowing through him, and he then tries to create special stakes so that Noah kills him. Noah couldn't go through with it as Louis was his friend. As some time passed, Maynard is also identified as a curse bearer, and she is sentenced to be executed. She soon transforms into a vampire monster, and Louis kills her while being consumed by his anger and bloodlust. Louis also kills many of his own friends when he loses control. Noah tries to save his friend and return him to normal, but Louis just attacks him, trying to consume him as well. Louis even manages to bite Noah and starts to drink his blood. Noah is saved at the last minute by the teacher who kills Louis. Back in the present, Charlatan offers to take Noah to Louis, but Vanitas arrives to save his friend. Charlatan has a special envoy called Nina, and she demands to know Noah's true name, but Vanitas and Jean come to his rescue. Nina and her two soldiers then leave as more cursed vampires show up. Dominique then decides to help Vanitas in his mission to cure all the cursed vampires. Noah and Vanitas find another young vampire called Katharina, who also gets transformed into a monster vampire that is affected by the curse. Katharina, in her berserk state, starts to consume her own sisters, and Vanitas then offers to save her. He helps to end her suffering, but Veronica prepares and attacks both Noah and Vanitas. Veronica is convinced that Noah and Vanitas are actually creating the curse that changes vampires. August Ruthlin appears and stops Veronica. Noah remembers his past and what he was taught by teacher. He now understands the power of the Book of Vanitas, and while he sometimes doesn't agree with Vanitas, he realizes that they must finish the mission and cure the vampires. That's it for today's video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. That's it for today's Anime Fans, and I'll see you all in the next video.